Magic Find, the stat that increases your odds of getting rare drops from funny mobs. It's the one stat you're a hater of if you don't have a lot of it, but it can also help you make a lot of money under the right circumstances. Unfortunately, it's also by far the one you have to spend the most money on. However, if you don't spend a lot of money on Magic Find, people will write LFMF every time you send a drop into guild chat. That's why today I decided to make a Magic Find progression guide, which you can follow to maximize your Magic Find for the cheapest price possible. Before I tell you guys how to max the best stat in a Hypixel Skyblock, please comment what your favorite skill is to boost the algorithm. So now, let's get into the guide. First off, I would go over to Elizabeth in the community shop and make sure that this account upgrade is maxed out. All it takes is a few days of upgrading and then you get a permanent +5 magic find across all of your profiles and you never have to upgrade it again, which is pretty nice. Next up, a god potion is gonna give you 88 magic find and a booster cookie is gonna give you an additional 15, and you want to have both active at all times anyways, so it's just basically free magic find. What you wanna do next is do /visit block zapper, come up to this black cake, right click it to eat it, and then you get one magic find for the next 48 hours. Make sure to refresh it once it runs out. Go over to the spider stand and talk to the Grandma Wolf NPC behind me, and then she will give you a Grandma Wolf pet, which allows you to build up a kill combo and gain more magic find for the duration of the kill combo. Speaking of pets, buy yourself a common griffin pet either from Diana for like 25k coins or from the auction house for just under 100k. Level 1, level it up yourself, and if you get it to level 100, that's a nice extra 10 magic find. You can buy all the materials for Lucky Clover for just under 2 million coins, and that's gonna be a nice extra 7 magic find if you put it on your griffin pet. I would not really worry about pet score that much in the early game. That's something for later on. Killing certain mobs increases your bestiary level of that mob, which gives you more magic find on said mobs, which is really useful for inquisitors during Diana. However, for what you are doing with magic find in the early game, bestiary is more or less negligible. Also, you should get the Rift necklace from the Rift, which gives you up to 8 magic find once you max out the entirety of the Rift. And the Rift necklace is actually the best in slot magic find necklace in the entire game. And otherwise it's not really a bad necklace anyway, so... Additionally, the Rift allows you to access the extremely real shurikens, which can be thrown on mobs to get +5% magic find on them. I would only recommend these for Inquisitors though, unless you're an Ironman really aiming for a specific drop. The reason for that is that on Slayers they aren't worth it, as magic find scales logarithmically on Slayers, so either you have low magic find and the shurikens barely give you any extra magic find anyways, or you already have high enough of a magic find that those 5% make effectively no difference in drop rates. There are also two mayors that increase your magic find. Aatrox is the Slayer Mayor and he increases your magic find on Slayers by 20% and an additional flat 20 magic find on top of that. And Jerry is a special mayor that appears once every 4 months and increases most stats, including magic find, by 10%. In the mid game, you can finally start spending some more coins on magic find. First off, I would buy a Daedalus Axe for about 6.5 million for an extra 17 magic find if you have a level 100 Lucky Clovered Griffin pet. A Sorrow armor set is gonna run you about 15 million coins and it's gonna give you an extra 20 magic find. Now, at this point, your magic find is actually not that terrible, and you can probably start doing Diana. If you do, I would highly recommend getting a looting 5 fragged Daedalus Axe once you get your bestiaries to at least like 12 to 15 each. Now, you need to get looting 5 for this to be worth it. A recent conversation I led with SBO developer Dark Swift actually made me aware of the fact that for the day accessibility to work, you need to kill your Inquis yourself. This means that looting 5 is highly important as not to give up the extra Chimera chance that looting 5 provides over looting 4. However, what this also means is that it doesn't do anything for Lucha, so if you're getting it, know that it only does something for your own Inquisitors. Now do take this with a grain of salt, as you only see the spawner's magic find on a Lucha Inquisitor, and only if they killed it. So there's no rock solid evidence behind the last claims. However, through math, he did come to the conclusion that it is very probable that the ability only works if you kill your own Inquis, so I'd rather just not risk it, because it is up to 60 magic find when you have every bestiary maxed after all. Wanna hear a funny little secret? The 5th anniversary balloon hat and the sloth hat of celebration stack. This means you can have both in your accessory bag at the same time and you get the magic find of both. However, it's only the magic find and the enrichments that stack, not the magical power, but it is still worth it. Next up, I recommend getting Renowned on the Sorrow armor for plus 1% more magic find per piece. It can be obtained from the Dragon Horn for about 8 million coins, including the apply cost, and the 1% actually makes quite a difference, even right now, but especially later on, it's gonna be a huge difference in magic find. After that, I would get myself a beacon and power it with scorched power crystals, and honestly, I would just go as high up as you can afford. Ideally, a tier 5 beacon with scorched power crystals is gonna give you 6 magic find when powered, so I would just get that if you have the opportunity, but if not, then like any beacon is fine, really. It's better than nothing. Next up, I would get a black cat pet with a lucky clover for 10 extra magic find over the griffin pet, counting the Daedalus axe. Um, Either get a level 1 and level it yourself, or a level 100, but a level 100 is like twice as expensive as a level 1, so if you are broke, then just go for the level 1 and level it yourself. If you're doing Diana in a 6-player party, then I would recommend getting Legion 5 on your Sorrow armor, as the 7% of the Legion add up very quickly, just like Renowned, and you wanna be doing Diana in a 6-player party anyways if you don't have your bestiaries maxed, because Lucha Inquisitors contribute to your bestiary if you didn't know that. And funnily enough, if you followed the guide 1-to-1, Legion will actually be more efficient coins per magic find wise than enrichments. However, putting enrichments on your legendary and high accessories you already own is the next best thing. Also, consider getting an uncommon pulse ring for 0.25 magic find if you don't have it for the magical power anyways, but 0.25 magic find is frankly nothing, so you could just skip it until later on when you get a maxed one anyways. Perk minus blessing for an extra 30 magic find. Also worth mentioning, if you're Scather mining, a black cat is way better than a griffin pet because of the extra pet luck, as on pet drops, pet luck is basically just more magic find. This makes a Minas Relic black cat just as good as a Minas Relic G-Drag pet with 100 mil gold collection specifically for pet drops. The first thing you should get when you really want to start stepping up your magic find game is gonna be Divine Gift 3 on your Daedalus axe. 100 million coins for 6 magic find is a great deal, and once we start going deeper, You wish the rest of the magic find was this cheap. At this point in the game, you probably are going to have a golden dragon pet anyways, but if not, you should definitely get one. Also, go for 100 million gold collection. It's not even that long of a grind and it makes up quite a decent chunk of magic find in the end. Maybe consider getting a Minos Relic on the G-Drag. If not, a Lucky Clover is fine as well. Speaking about pets, now is probably the time to start investing in some pet school if you haven't already started doing that anyways for Skyblock XP. If you have an Inferno Kudra completion, you can swap out your Soul for a renowned Legion 5 Magic Find 10 Kudra set like Crimson. However, that's purely for more other stats and not for Magic Find, as the Magic Find stays exactly the same. What you can get for more Magic Find though is Magic Find Molten Equipment. I would recommend starting at level 6 on every piece and upgrading it as you go on. You might think it's wild that I've gone through all these different sources of Magic Find and not once have mentioned Chimera, and you are correct. Chimera is up next. There are two ways to go about Chimera. Either you alternate between upgrading Chimera and the Magic Find attributes on your equipment, depending on what's more efficient. Refer to the graphic on screen right now. Or just go for Chimera 5 as soon as you can. Personally, with the foraging update being pseudo-announced and the removal of attributes coming alongside it, I'd rather go for Chimera 5 first and then upgrade the Molten equipment if I have spare money that I know I won't be missing if it were to vanish in a couple of months. If you're at the point in the game where you have a Chimera 5 Daedalus Axe, you're probably not too far off of the legendary pulse ring being worth it as an accessory for magical power per coins anyways, so just get it for the magic find at this point, alongside the Diana's bookshelf and the Necron's ladder. If you are a lava fisherman, get yourself a set of Blazing Fortune Magma Lord armor with bobbin time preferably, so you can get that extra magic find on lava sea creatures. However, if you are more of a Slayer enjoyer, go for habanero tactics on your armor. Note that for Diana you either need a second set of Crimson with Legion, or you have to kill Inks and Sorrow, so I don't recommend getting it if you're not planning to do enough Slayers to make it worth it. Especially because habanero tactics is quite the expensive enchantment anyways. Get a Woofer mix in from the bartender in the hub for 7 magic find when one-tapping mobs. We've finally reached the endgame stage of Magic Find. This one is pretty straightforward. Get the last few legendary accessories you're missing, get max pet score, and of course get the one helmet that costs more than the rest of the setup combined. The Clover helmet. There's also the Crown of Avarice, but it's only one magic find more than a magic find 10 Crimson helmet, and it also deletes all scavenger coins, not to mention it somehow costs more per magic find than even the Clover helmet, so I would not recommend to get it just for the purposes of doing Diana with it, or generally for magic find, like just save up for a Clover helmet, in my opinion. For fishing, get yourself a set of Blazing Fortune and Magic Find Magma Lord armor. Ideally level 10 attributes, but be warned, they are very expensive on Magma Lord, as you have to buy the attribute shards, and the attribute shards are way more expensive than, say, random Kudra pieces. For Slayers, get a set of Crimson armor with Habanero Tactics 5, and put Chimera 5 and Divine Gift 3 on your Slayer weapons. There are two quite niche pet-related sources of magic find. First, There's the Grandma's Knitting Needle, which is applicable to your Grandma Wolf pet, and it grants you plus 5% Magic Find when reaching a kill combo of 50. This is quite niche, as the only real use case for this is during ghost grinding, because otherwise there isn't another scenario where you're both killing a lot of mobs constantly and where you want high Magic Find at the same time. Second, there is the Mythic Spider and Tarantula pet ability Web Battlefield, which creates a radius of 20 blocks around mobs you killed, in which you can stand to gain plus 1 Magic Find. You may gain up to 10 Magic Find through this ability. This has a very specific use case during Diana, which I will go over in another video sometime. So that was the ultimate Magic Find guide. If you follow this through from the beginning, you will go from having Magic Find people will consider bingo Magic Find, no, not that kind of bingo, to having quite literally maxed it out. With max Magic Find, Diana easily becomes one of the best money making methods, even going toe to toe with tier 5 Kudra with even average RNG. Now, will you notice the difference that Magic Find makes? Maybe. Because in the end, every drop is a 50-50 chance. Either you get it or you don't. If you've made it all the way to the end, please consider leaving a like and subscribing if you enjoy the content. It means a lot to me. 500 Magic Find. Surely I will have a higher chance of winning at the roulette table now.